What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today, I have four guests here with me, and we're going to talk about the meta for Roanoke Regionals that's coming up next weekend. Virginia, it's expanded. It's the first expanded tournament with the new set, and the first tournament in the country with the new set. So it should be pretty exciting. Why don't you all introduce yourself before we get into it? Starting, we'll go Charlie, Peter, Finn, then Michael.
Okay, so my name's Charlie Lockyer. I'm 16, player in Masters for 2 years. I live in Maryland. And this year, I top 32 Charlotte, top 64 Dallas, and Toronto as well. And got points at like the 5 cups I went to.
Nice.
Hello, my name is Peter. I'm currently sitting at 748 points. Hoping to get some good finishes the last few regionals, going into NAIC, maybe squeeze into the top 16.
Nice.
Hey, or is it okay? Anyway, I'm Finn. I'm at 750 points. Also potentially gonna squeeze into top 16 maybe. I'm on PPG and I own Cutter Tap and I like to play Pokemon.
Cool.
All right, I'm Michael. I've been playing since 2012. This is my second year in Masters. I got top 32 at Memphis Regionals and top 16 at Utah, which got me my invite.
Cool. And as you may or may not know, my name's Luke, and I'll be running this discussion for the meta. So let's just start out a couple cards that we're gaining from Forbidden Light. So we'll be starting with Charlie, just going in the same order, unless I have a specific question for someone. So Charlie, any specific cards from Forbidden Light you think are really going to shake things up for Expanded?
It's kind of weird. I think Beast Drink's going to find itself on the ban list pretty quickly after a couple events, but not really because it's broken with the Buzzwole GX. But I think it's actually probably better with some of the other Ultra Beasts, like the Baby Buzzwole, which I think is really underrated right now. And a couple other cards would be Diantha. That's a good card. Some people are going to play Sylveon, and they're going to play that. And then and then there's the Prism Stars, obviously. I don't think Beast Energy's that good, though. Otherwise, Dianthe's amazing, and the Malamar's not going to do anything in Expanded, I don't think. Yeah, it's... otherwise, I think that's probably it for the upcoming events. And Mysterious Treasure, of course, is amazing, but... Yeah.
Cool. Peter, anything else?
I think he covered all the good cards. I don't think there's any other cards that really impact Expanded way too much. I've been testing kind of Mega Gardevoir with Diantha. That's pretty cool. Mysterious Treasure can fit in a few decks. I mean, the best card from the set going into Expanded is definitely the Baby Buzzwole, though.
Yeah, it seems pretty dirty. Finn?
Yeah, no, I don't want to like echo these guys, but I actually have my recent article up because I like detailed everything that I thought was good. But yeah, no, it's pretty much just what they said. I think Baby Buzz is really strong. Beastring is pretty good. I don't think Malamar is going to be insane just because Hex exists and Red Card Hex I feel like is really bad for that deck. I actually do think Beast Energy is pretty good though. But yeah, pretty much what they said.
So let me ask, I'll ask you since you're the one speaking here. So Baby Buzz, are we going to see that outside of Buzzwole decks?
Like I don't know how else you could play it.
Like
honestly,
any deck running Rainbow Energy or...
Oh no.
Okay.
I think we're gonna see it in like a couple of those, but I don't think it'll stick. I think there's gonna be decks that run 3 or 4 Baby Buzzwole though and use it as their main attacker. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Charlie just said. Actually, yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, Michael.
They pretty much covered everything. One thing that is pretty cute is you can play the Baby Buzzwole and Donphan to sneak in a one-shot on the Zoroarks.
That's
cool.
It. Cool. Okay, so we're going to... I have a list of archetypes that we're going to try to cover. I tried to cover all the important ones, maybe a couple out there ones, but just want to, try to talk about everything that might be in the meta. So Finnegan, we're gonna start with you. Tell me where Zoro Eggs is in the current meta, or in the new
Not,
meta.
it's not good, man. I feel like people finally found a way to beat it. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was no Zoroarks in top four at Utah, right? Wasn't it Sableye, Guardy, Guardy? Anybody know? Okay,
It was
well,
just
anyway.
one
It was
Sableye.
Sableye. I think it was Sableye Guardy. I think another Guardian. I think like was it like Drampa or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark lost the top 8, so he didn't make it, definitely.
So, like, basically, we're just saying Zoroarks is not. I don't know. If it didn't make top four, that tells me that people really found a way to actually counter it well. So I feel like that might be done. And then, like, Baby Buzz and Beast Ring, I think together are going to be another counter to Zoroark. So I don't see it really doing super well anymore. I think it's probably going to be like not doing super well for like one or two expanded events, and then people are going to forget about it and it's going to come back again.
Okay. So I'm looking at the top 8 from Salt Lake. There was one Zoroark in top 8. But
Yeah.
something else I think is worth noting is that there were a lot of good players in top 8 that were not playing Zoroark. You know, a lot of people tried new things. We saw a little bit of an increase of Drampagard making day 2. We saw Lucario
Yeah.
decks. We saw the Buzzwole with wide lens. So that could definitely play a part in it as well.
Yeah. The meta is like centered around beating Zoroark right now, so I just don't see it doing well, at least for Roanoke, and then we'll see what happens after that, but I don't think it's going to be good for Roanoke.
Cool. So Charlie, tell me about Trevenant. So if Zoroark's out of the way, I think Trevenant can make the Zoroark matchup fairly close. I don't think it's as bad as people would think automatically, but tell me about Trevenant and how Zoroark moving away might affect it.
Well, first of all, I don't think Zoroark's really going to move away that much. I think people are mostly worried about Buzzwole, and Zoroark can pretty easily adapt to beat that. The problem is beating other decks like Gardevoir, though, which is like a lot harder to adapt for things like Zoroark. But I do expect there to be less Zoroark at the end of the day. And Trev, I mean, I think I'm probably going to end up playing it just because I mean, in expanded, you're able to item lock someone turn 1. You can just lock people out of games. You get free wins that way. I mean, it happens quite a bit. You get lucky on flips, you can just get some free wins, and then you can like actually play the game, pretty much all the other games. So I think Trev's a strong deck. Got options against almost everything. The only other thing it doesn't is like Turbo Dark, and that's not going to see any play.
Yeah, Turbo Dark should be pretty chased off by Buzzwole.
Yeah, Mysterious Treasure helps it out too a lot because you can replace the level balls.
Oh yeah, that is a big point. Mysterious Treasure definitely helps the deck. So one of Trevenant's best matchups or most secured matchups is probably against Night March. So Peter, tell us about your baby Joltik. How's he looking for this tournament?
I mean, I expect some people to play it, but personally, I don't think it's a great play. I think there's a lot of Trevenant hype going into this, and like you have to just play a bunch of cards that you don't normally want to play in Night March to just try to deal with Trevenant. And if they go first and get the item lock, you just pretty much lose anyway. So it's not looking good for this set. Mainly, it's being pushed out of the meta because of the like just how oppressive Zoroark is with being able to just red card gets this and then Oricorio on the same turn. I mean that's how I lost most of my games against Zoroark. I also just played against. I'm speaking about Utah. I played against a couple of Noivern and Seismitoad guards, which
Yeah,
was not a good time.
That's not gonna
So
be good.
I don't expect
No,
any
you're
of those, but I mean you can just play against random decks like that.
Cool. Michael, do you have any differing opinions on Trevenant? Bad matchups, good matchups. Is it the call for Roanoke?
After playing Trevenant in Utah, I don't think the deck's very good. I went into Utah thinking it had a fairly positive Zoroark matchup.
Okay.
And then I played the event. I played against 2 Zoroarks, and both times I would have lost if my opponent played correctly. And it just did not seem favorable at all. And I still think Zoroark will have a good enough showing in Roanoke to the point where Trevenant's a pretty risky play. obviously there will be the counter decks like Buzzwole and Grandpa, which you take all right matchups against. But I don't know. It seems risky to play it in Roanoke.
So you were saying you went in feeling pretty positive, and it turned out not. In my testing, Zoroark deck's playing stand-in Zoroark over the black and white Zoroark. It's not a huge deal, but it's a slight boost for the Zoroark player playing against Trevenant, because a lot of times Trevenant will try to counter catch you and just lock something, and if you have stand-in with a float from earlier, or just stand-in to come up and be your attacker with a DCE, that's really helpful. Um, and I assume I'll ask anyway. So when you said your opponents weren't playing correctly, were they just benching too many Zoruas and giving you more things to spread to?
Yeah, both opponents I played against both Leylaid for Bridget and then put 3 Zorwas on their bench on turn 1.
Okay.
And then the one person misplayed and didn't Sky Return, which gave me game.
Oh, okay.
And if he did Sky Return, I could not win.
Okay. So yeah, against Trev, you pretty much just play with a 3 Pokemon bench, hit him for 160 every time.
Could I just add something? Going back to
Absolutely.
the Night March thing, Trevenant's being built very differently than it was in the past. So its Night March matchup is not like crazy good, but it is favored still. Like they play way too many of these like hammer cards and like counter catcher, mainly to stall out Zoroark. But in the past, they used to play like Bursting Balloon and stuff like just cards that made it almost impossible for Night March to win. Because if you swing into a Trevenant and get knocked out, like it's just really bad. You need to trade the DCs for knockouts every turn.
Yeah, the Trevenant's pretty much built now, at least what I'm playing, it's built to beat Zoroark, like as best as it can, and then everything else that it is good against is just naturally good against from how the deck affects other players with the item lock.
I personally think that's a deck building mistake to build Trev at least, like
To beat
entirely
Zoroark.
on Zoroark as much as possible. Especially for this event, I might just consider taking the L to Zoroark. I've already cut all 3 counter catchers from my list.
Okay.
I don't think the card's that good against anything except sometimes against Zoroark it can be useful in like a pinch, but otherwise I'm playing Guzma again. Like I'd much rather use a card that I can recycle and play 2 other cards that I can use in like other matchups. Like I put Zerosic back in so I could beat Drampagard because I think that's going to see even more play also.
Okay, yeah. I was playing 1-0-6, 1 counter, and no Guzma. But so the Zerosic is definitely good because if your opponent gets a turn 1 float on a Trubbish and you're not playing Field Blower or Zerosic, you're screwed.
Yep, it's over.
I don't know about that. I think if they get the float stone, it's basically the same thing as them playing Tina. And when I played against Jimmy and Igor, they both played Tina. And against Jimmy, it came down to a 50-50 top deck for me. And against Igor, I just didn't draw very well and had some rough prizes.
Okay. So playing against Drampagarb when they have ability lock or Tina is doable, is what you're saying?
I don't think them having their items is very relevant.
Okay, yeah. I have played that matchup maybe about 10 times, and I have beaten it after they've gotten the float stone, but it's definitely, a lot harder, and I would rather have the float stone off of it.
Yeah, problem is like the purpose of Trevenant, and like the only way I think a lot of people, like back when people said Night March like had 50-50s against Trev, and all these other things had like 50-50s against Trev, like the reason Trev ever wins games is just by starving your opponent out having any chance to get anything. And like the biggest thing in the Drampagarb and the Zoroark matchups, you just end them into nothing and they don't draw DCE. And that's usually the only way you win games with Trev is you just starve them out of resources. And without their items, it's much harder for them to get them. So I feel like having items is probably a bigger deal. That's why I don't like playing against Tina ever. Like I think it's a worse deal than a lot of people do. But still, those things are usually not that impossible to play around. But like the purpose of the deck is just to starve your opponent of resources almost all the time. It's not really a kill everything deck with item lock.
Okay, any rebuttal on that, or can we move on from Trev? Okay, cool. So are there Zoroark variants outside of Zoro eggs that we should be considering? So Lon Zoro at this point is pretty much just Zoro eggs, and you cut an egg and put in a toad, or you cut 2 eggs and put in a 1/1 muck. Alolan Muck, is that worth considering, Peter?
I was testing Alolan Muck last night,
As was
and
I.
it was just really clunky, actually. I just felt like I was getting outsped by Buzzwole. Like,
Mhm.
if they went first and got the Sudowoodo down first, and just jet punched, I felt like I was way too far behind. And I was playing stuff like Mr. Mime as well, so like, I mean, it was just kind of hard to set up.
Yeah, the Alolan Muck only like feels good against Zoro eggs, at least in my opinion. Like, it's just two dead cards against Buzzwole.
Yeah, honestly, I was playing Finnegan's type of Zoroark build, and it felt much easier to set up compared to the other like Bridget heavy type of decks.
Okay. And is this Finnegan's from a recent tournament?
Yeah, the one from Costa Mesa.
Okay. And is that just one Bridget in that?
Yeah, just the one Bridget.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, any other Zoroark variants? Zoro Rock, Zoropod.
No. Or I heard people talking about Zoropod, but I don't think it's good.
No, not good. Zoropod is not good and expanded.
I think it was for about a tournament, but at least in my opinion, it's seen its day and expanded.
Zoropod was good when Zoroark GX wasn't legal, but
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. I think Zoropod was better when Zoroark GX wasn't legal. I definitely agree with that, actually.
Okay. Greninja.
oh my god, that deck's so bad. Although it does get Crasher Wake, it's still not a good deck.
Are
What?
we
They got what?
Crasher Wake? That's not
Discard
bad.
2 cards and search the deck for cards.
I love that card.
Oh my god.
That card's so sick.
Are we expecting Greninja at Roanoke?
There's gonna be 2 playing it.
There's gonna be probably 3 players playing it.
Okay. So we have 3 people playing Greninja, 1 person playing Flagon, and then about 300 other people.
And the rest of the regionals.
Yeah. So,
John Ing, Joey Rediger, and who's the third one?
John Joey
Um,
Somebody that they convince.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay, there you go.
maybe Alpha play it. He played it last
So Greninja, we're not teching Tina for that.
time.
No.
Cool.
Like, the deck is just bad.
Cool. Gardevoir. So Gardevoir saw a lot of play, or at least it saw a lot of success at Salt Lake. So is that still good in expanded with the new set out, or does Buzzwole kind of push it out of the format?
I don't know how it saw success over there actually. Like I guess they just avoided everything that just beat it and made it top 8, I guess. I don't know.
The deck
If you
is-
run hot, it's good.
Yeah, if you're in hot against Zoroark, you can beat them, but
Like, even if you, I don't know, when I was testing that matchup, like, my Zora eggs versus Guardy, it was like, you have to run somewhat hot, but like, with Chorus for like 13, you don't even have to run too hot, just because you're getting so many cards off of it.
Oh, I've thought about it this way. I feel like, and it's kind of a weird statement because I think the standard deck is good, but Gardevoir is kind of like the Bulu of expanded. If you run hot, you do well a lot of times. That's been my strategy with decks like
does that mean I should play it?
that. That's my question.
Kikafor.
I mean,
No. No
I don't
way.
know.
Okay. Michael, any thoughts on Guardy?
Definitely if it runs hot, it does well. I played Travis round 1 of Utah, and he ran pretty hot, and my Espeon was prized, so couldn't do much.
Okay. And that was with Trevenant, right? You were playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus, he beat you while you were playing Trevenant?
Yeah, bro.
Tina.
Did
It
he
ran
have Tina
hot.
promo?
Yeah, he had Tina promo.
He had Tina, and my Espeon was prized,
Oh,
and then
okay.
we ran out
That's
of
it.
the game.
That's
That's
it. He
what-
had Tina, that's all I needed to hear.
So people are saying Buzzwole is the biggest deck in expanded, or the best deck in expanded.
That's just a false statement.
Is Buzzwole the best deck in expanded?
Depends on how you judge Buzzwole. I think Buzzwole with 3 GXs built it all like a standard deck. Like my
Is-
original thought was was the 17 energy Buzzwole from Charlotte. That was my original thought, but I was like, this deck sucks. I want to play 3 or 4 babies and like 2 GX.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Because the baby with all the baby with all the boosting cards like Diancie, Regirock, Strong Energy, Choice Band, like you can use the thing for 3 energies. You're doing a non-EX for like 200 damage,
Mm-hmm.
and with the 3 energy attack, and then the 1 energy attack when they have 4 prizes left, you kill something and you set up your bench.
So that sounds great against Zoroark, but what about everything else?
Well, the second attack does 80. I think flip a coin. If heads, you do 20 more, and then you add all the ridiculous boosts and you kill a bunch of stuff.
Okay,
The
so
coin flip is such a pain. The coin flip is like the biggest reason why that might not work. Like if it just said 100 and no coin flip, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
So
I think
let's
it's
say
2
you
coin flips, no?
My
Two coin
strategy is
flips,
usually
20 for
like
each head.
go in with, or for the
Oh.
deck idea, it's like go in with a Buzzwole, like a baby or a Buzzwole GX, start jet punching and spreading damage, and then you let your Buzzwole die. Then you go nuts with Beast Ring, power up a Buzzwole on the bench and like babies, and then do the attack, the 4 prize attack or whatever. Let that die.
But you don't even need the Buzzwole GX. You can play Stunfisk with Muddy Water so that your opponent only takes 1 prize the whole time.
Yeah, there's no way to lose if you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
looking
sounds
up.
like bad quad Regirock.
So how many coins do you flip? Because I'm looking up the Buzzwole
It's
right
2
now.
coins.
It's 2
It's
coins.
2 coins, 20 for each heads.
Oh, you get 2 flips?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. That's better.
I mean, it's still annoying though. It's like
Yeah, I would still rather
it's
have
even
it
worse because you'll like
200 flat.
rely on it. You'll be like, oh, I've got 2 coin flips. I'm not gonna flip 2 tails, and then you will, and then you'll lose the game because of it.
That's gonna happen.
So let's say on average you hit the 100. With a choice band, it's 130. With a strong, it's 150. With
Diancie,
DNC, it's
Regirock.
170. With
Yeah.
Regirock, it's 180. So is that
Then-
enough to rely on like as your main attacker against non-Zoroark decks?
Well, you got more strong energies, and if you play it, you can have beast energy too.
Okay.
Oh, Beast Energy. I forgot about that.
Because I think non-GX Ultra Beasts are just better because this format does not have like any really good, other than Donphan really, any really good almost exclusively non-GX decks, and I feel like that's a really powerful strategy right now. Because like
Yeah.
everything is just big Pokemon, big 2 prize kills. Like something with 1 prize could just throw a wrench in everything.
Also, there's
Definitely interesting.
Victini. I forgot about this at first, but
Oh,
there's that
Victini.
Victini star that lets you flip your coins again, so that'll help.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about Buzzwole? Buzzrock built like Prem's and Rahul's list from Salt Lake, but new cards and expanded.
I think somebody else talked about this on a podcast recently, and they were saying you just cut 2 cards for like a Diancie and a Baby Buzz, and then that's pretty much it. And that sounded pretty accurate to me.
Well, you also would
Yeah.
be playing B-String, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it probably.
Okay. I've been testing it with B-String. I'm not a huge fan. I'd just rather play a Zoroark deck because it's consistent.
Yeah, it's just got too many counters though. Like everybody's like, "Yep, gotta beat Zork."
So, do we think the focus is still on beating Zoroark and not on beating Buzz?
I think the focus will switch to beating Buzzwole, actually.
Okay, and why is that?
People just see it as this powerhouse deck with, B-String, Baby Buzz, all this stuff.
But I feel like we're gonna get the same effect we got with Ultra Prism, because with Ultra Prism, everyone's like, "Oh, there's this insane Magnezone deck that beats everything. Like, how do we ever win?" But then it showed up and did nothing at the first event.
There still were like 130 of them there that people had to beat. It's just
And
it
there
was
were
in-
130 people there, and
Are
zero.
you're talking about
maybe
the
one,
standard
maybe two.
Dustmane?
yeah.
Most
but that-
played deck, and
But that deck was bad.
Yeah, I think most people know that Dustmane is not as good as Beastring.
B-String's broken, but like the deck's gonna lose to Zoroark and expanded.
Like I think the difference with your I see the comparison, but the difference is that like people wanted to play Magnezone Duskmane and good players said no, it's probably bad, and they still played it. Like Buzzwole is admittedly stronger. Like it's a deck that's been proven already. It survived and expanded without these extra tools. Like it got some day 2 placements without DNC, without Beast Energy, without Beast Ring, without Baby Buzz, and now it has these 3 or 4 insane cards plus Karina Beast Ring. Like, if I have a floatstone on my active artillery or whatever's active after they just knock something out, I just Karina for Buzz, B-String, attach strong, KO. Like, I think it's pretty busted.
Yeah, that's true. It's also got a target though.
Well, it's hard for everything to have a target is the problem. Like, if people are building their decks, teching for Zorark, teching for Buzz, keeping an Oricorio, then you're just going to run into a lot of inconsistent messes, probably.
They should not be keeping Oricorio. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Nobody should be playing that card in anything.
If everyone doesn't play Oricorio,
Drampagard.
does that make Night March be viable then? If everyone takes Oricorio out?
Oh yeah, maybe it is. Actually, Peter, you might be right about that. Actually, maybe it is good in Drampagard.
Yeah, I think he still played in Drampagard just because it's really good versus Buzzwell, but probably nothing else.
Yeah. Actually, do you even need it? I don't know if you even need it anymore. I don't know. Anyway.
Michael, Buzzwell?
Buzzwell's pretty good. Baby Buzzwell's a pretty busted card. About it.
Buzzrock in Expanded? Have you tested with it at all?
I have not.
Okay. Have you played against it?
Yes, with Trepin.
Okay. that might have some skewed results. Because I think the Trevenant hype is partially coming from Mysterious Treasure and partially coming from its insane Buzzwell matchup.
And Cena.
It does not have an insane Buzzwell matchup.
So Buzzwell can beat it.
It's probably 40-60 in Trev. Or it's in probably like 60-40, 65-35 in Trev's favor.
Okay.
It's not an 80-20.
Okay.
That matchup's pretty free for Trevenant.
I mean, you can only do 120. That's the problem. Is like you're hitting 120, which he has 2 shots with bench damage, but they can still power stuff up.
It's pretty hard for them without Max Elixir and B-String.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're hitting you with Zygarde, they're still smacking into resistance and they're healing 30. But that's not a big deal when you're just spreading 30 to everything else on the bench.
Yeah, I found it to be favorable. It's not like I've lost it. It's not like unlosable without dead draw.
Okay. Any Seismitoad? Should we be expecting any Seismitoad?
I've been thinking about Toad actually just as a way to like deal with B-String, because you're like you put them down to 3 or 4 prizes, and then if you can punch at the same time or
take those prizes, you take your 5th and 4th prize as you hit Quaking Punch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe not 5th and 4th,
or 6th and 5th, or so.
Yeah, you take your first 2 prizes with Quaking Punch.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway. But yeah, that's like, I don't know, just an idea I had for circumventing the B-Strings.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. So just put Seismitoad into your decks that are going to set up Buzzwell to have like 30 to 60 HP left, then knock it out with Quaking Punch. Or just Seismitoad as a deck.
Seismitoad as a deck could work. I'm kind of doubting it. I think there might be a better item lock. But, well, maybe there isn't. But anyway, yeah, I was just thinking as like a one-of in Zorark, potentially for that reason.
Cool.
Yeah, dude, Noivern.
Literally
so
cannot.
my problem with a Toad-based deck is Drampagarb. Drampagarb hasn't been seeing a ton of play. It's been seeing play from good players that are seeing success with it, but there's always a chance that it'll pop up in numbers. And
Drampagarb's really good. That deck blew me away at this last tournament, actually. So much better than I realized.
I think it's really great, but you have to play it really, really well.
Drampagarb might be the best deck going into this event.
I think Garb is the best deck going into this event.
Try.
For sure.
So, like, Buzzwell opponent, okay, I'll play 3 Beast Ring. Okay, thank you for the extra 120 damage with Trash Lynch on my attacker.
Yeah. I've been... It's still a back and forth Buzz versus Drampagarb, because if it's a Buzz Rock, then Lichen Rock can be a huge pain to take care of.
Also, I've heard a lot of hype about, or a small amount of hype about going back to the 1 prize Garb deck. Fitness, like 1 prize Garb deck.
With the Necrozma and the Mimikyu?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've also heard about that.
that's gonna beat the crap out of Buzzwole, but he probably loses to Zoroark. That's the problem.
Yep. Yeah, because
It does.
you need the Parallel City and the Drampa, and they're playing Dimension Valley and maybe one Drampa. So without the parallel, like, what are you gonna do? Put down the Pseudo Wudo, and then they're gonna hex.
That deck is the, or I mean, Zork is the only reason I stopped playing Necrozma Garbodor before, and it definitely like it's not an auto loss for Necrozma Garb just because like you can spread the 100s all over the place and then de-evolve, but it's definitely not a favorable matchup. So you definitely need to like take some steps to try and improve that if you want to go with it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to think about. So, wouldn't would you still play a Drampa, or at that point is Righteous Edge moot without the Parallel City and Righteous Edge combo?
I would probably play one Dramp. I think if I remember correctly, I ended up putting one Dramp in there. I just like the option to like Big Wheel if I'm dead drawing, and I feel like Righteous Edge comes in handy sometimes. So I think like I honestly like for all my Garb decks in both formats, I've almost always included one Drampa. I think like the Costa Mesa or not Costa Mesa, St. Louis and Daytona regionals were like the only times I actually didn't play the Drampa. But yeah, I think you can splash one in for sure.
Sounds good. Michael, were you saying you think Drampa Garb's the best deck in format?
Yes, I think Garb is probably the best deck going into the event. It has a lot of splashable things that you can put into it. Like you can put even the Mewtwo EX in there to give a little bit better early game against Buzzwole. You can put in the Toad to try and knock it out with the Toad so that they don't get B-String on their turn. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the deck to make your Buzzwole matchup even better.
Mm-hmm. I think it's slightly favored for Drampa Garb. I'm playing Mewtwo EX X-Ball in my list, and with that, I think it's slightly favored. Um, what are your thoughts on the matchup if you're not teching for Buzzwole? If you're just playing like a vanilla Drampa Garb?
Depending on your start and where you can get your attachments down, it's probably still favored for Garb. Buzzwole, I would guess, doesn't have a great time if they get end low with Garbotoxin in play, because then they don't have the artillery, and you can usually by that point your Garbodor is doing a lot of damage, or hopefully you can Trash Lanche
Mm-hmm.
for a knockout, or even just promote Oricorio and hit it for 120 with the one of the dances, and the matchup just seems pretty favored for Garb. It has a lot of just inherent counters to the deck.
Yeah, because Trashalanche is going to be playing a much larger role, uh, potentially in this meta versus Buzzwole, because it was a kind of a backseater and you let Drampa do all the work against Zoroark. But now that Trashalanche is more important, I upped my retrieval. I'm playing one Rescue Stretcher, one Super Rod. And I'm just trying that out so I can more reliantly get my Trashalanches back for a quick KO on a Buzz. But like I said, I think Lycanrock's the problem in that matchup. Charlie, any thoughts on that? On Drampa Garb?
I think Drampa is probably one of the best decks. It's pretty obvious. I mean, you want to play more Trash Lunch, though. It's going to really help you against Buzzwole. I'd probably, if I didn't not have time to test or do any real prep for the event and was just going with Trevenant, then I'd probably end up playing Drampa. It's just that I don't really. If you have time to test it and you know how to play it, it's probably the best deck for most people to play.
Cool. So, what beats Drampa Garb then? If you think a lot of people are going to realize, I personally, I think Drampa Garb has a lot of 50-50s, just slightly favorables and things you can tech well for, like you guys said, splashable, and 50-50s that you can practice to get better at are always really appealing to me. So if a lot of other people find this out, then what do we play to beat Drampa Garb if we're not playing it ourselves?
Doesn't Sableye beat it?
Sableye destroys it, yeah.
Yeah.
How does Sableye honestly beat Buzzwole? That's the question.
I don't think it does with the dance, you know.
I mean, your B-strings will be useless, but like
They do too much damage, I feel like.
they're gonna be spreading. Yeah, Punch is gonna hit too hard.
Because it's one-shot Sableye now with 70.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
Well,
Garbodor.
Deontay's not active because of Garbodor.
If they just feel
Yeah,
lower,
but they gotta set up the Garbiter though. Like, I mean,
and they're putting 30s in places too, which makes it.
They'll
Yeah.
set up the Garbodor. That's not that hard.
So then they jet punch the Garb for 30, then Guzma at the next turn.
Mm-hmm. It
And
doesn't.
after like
It sounds winnable, but
a couple handiwork mills, or like trick shovel or whatever, the Sableye can also just go with trash on it.
That's true. Oh, that's totally true.
that's very true. That's a great point.
The attacks. That's actually really.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
But so let's say you do put a Toad tech into your Drampagarb to better the Buzz matchup. Does that also hit Sableye Garb for collateral damage?
Yeah, not.
how
Really.
does
I don't.
how does
Or would
putting
it
the Toad
check
help your
up,
matchup?
I thought the Quaking Punch would help your matchup versus Sableye because then.
Oh, do you play a Toad?
Yeah,
Versus Sableye.
if you're playing a Sableye in your Drampagarb, I'm sorry, if you're playing a Toad in your Drampagarb.
I think
I mean, it did win the regionals.
yeah, the way Sableye is currently built, they can't really handle item lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they
Do a lot
obviously
of them
can.
play Latias or Jaracina?
No, I
What-
mean
what
that's
if
how
the
it used to be
Sableye
played,
were-
right? So the one that won is probably what people were gonna take the list off of, and
Play any of
that
them?
one can't beat like a item lock.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't play much energy removal outside of crushing hammers. Like the old school Sableye used to play like Zerosic and Team Flare Grunt. So, I mean that deck could theoretically put the garbage collection on top, put the garbage collection up, and then keep putting the Flare Grunt on top of their deck
Mhm.
and just run Silent Toad out of DCs.
The list that won played 2 Flagrant, I thought.
Did he?
I'm
Pretty
looking
sure.
right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had,
one
2
Flare Grunt,
hand-
one Skull Grunt,
Oh, okay.
and I believe he said in an interview that the Skull Grunt was a cuttable card, which I would agree with.
Yeah, I feel like Skull Grunt's pretty good versus somebody trying to shame him with you, but maybe
Skull
he says
Grunt
that.
against bad players.
Okay, so I think we talked enough about Sableye Garb. Any rogue decks Donphan? We didn't mention Donphan. How good does Donphan get with Baby Buzz and the Yancy Prism?
Oh man, the Diancie helps it a lot.
So you're
So
hitting.
it makes your Zoroark matchup probably like 90-10.
It's already
probably-
really bad for Zoroark. Like
Yeah.
without it.
I don't know. I don't know if it helps many other matchups, to be honest. Well,
Buzz will beat Donphan. I feel like it honestly has a good shot at it because, I mean,
you just snipe everywhere unless they like play Mr. Mime, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that would help.
We just came up with an amazing deck.
I've never played Donphan versus Drampagarb, but in my head it sounds favorable for Donphan because you can just try not to play a lot of items and Drampa can't attack.
Yeah, a lot of the Donphan lists just play 0 Robo Substitute right now.
Yep, yeah, I was looking at Altavia's list about an hour ago, and it looks pretty nice. Just pop a DNC in there, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of his list, but
Doesn't his list only have 3 Flowstone?
I thought it had
Flow-
4.
ridiculous low.
I thought it
You
had
want him to 4?
I'm looking right now.
It should be 4. I
It's
was
4.
like,
It's 4.
Instances.
oh, thank God.
'Cause-
He was playing against me the day before with 3 Flowstone, and I was like giving him so much crap for that. That's terrible. You cannot play 3 Float in that deck.
Well, you might have got him to day 2 then. He put it a 4 floatstone. So any rogue decks before we wrap up?
I was testing Mega Gardevoir earlier today.
Right. And how do you
Um,
like that?
It obliterates Buzzwole, but
It's like
maybe that's about it. Yeah, Mega Gardevoir, the Despair Ray.
yeah.
I
Zoroark
get
was it though.
I mean, the Zoroark matchup probably comes down to who goes first and like goes Hex Maniac. I feel like Gardevoir can probably do it more reliably since you play 4
Dimension
Shamans.
Valley. You're playing Dimension Valley and Max Potion.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
not trying to one-shot stuff.
The list that was originally hyped, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you got Diantha, so you can theoretically get back 2
Yeah,
pieces once your Guardy dies in the active spot. So you can get a bunch of max potions or, stuff like that.
Cool.
You have a bunch of disruption Pokemon, like, you have that Marshadow, judges both hands. They can, like,
Oh,
Hex
right.
Maniac.
Yeah, let loose.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean,
So does it only beat Buzzwole?
I feel like it can go pretty even with Zoroark decks.
So
Let's see what else. I played against a couple Lapras decks actually on ladder. It was kind of weird. Beat those. I think it can beat anything that doesn't one shot it.
okay.
Its Trevenant matchup's probably like sort of okay because you have multiple Hex Maniacs, and you can discard stuff that they spread too. So like maybe it could be good. I don't know. I'm still working on the list.
Okay,
I've
cool.
heard about a lot of dumb road decks too. But people
I'm
are
trying to build something with Naganadel. The current idea is like play it with Wobbuffet and Bats and Mystery Treasure. So you set up damage on a bunch of different stuff, and then you use the GX, and then you like take 3 prizes in one turn, and end.
Oh, that seems very funny.
It's probably not going to be good, but it's
You go like D Valley, DC, and you can GX, right?
exactly, yeah. And then they take 2 prizes on you, go down to 1 prize, and you're like end to 1 Wobbuffet, and then you just try to, hope they don't knock out your Wobbuffet and win.
What if they Hex Maniac you and then kill you?
Gonadell's been my partner for Baby Buzzwole in my testing.
Okay.
That's what I played. Is I played that and like 3 to 4 Baby Buzzwole and Beast Ring. I think I played 0 Psychic Energy, and just went for the first attack and a bunch of beasts on the bench, and just hit with it until one of them died, then killed something with the Baby Buzzwole attack, and I've played Beast Energy with that too. Yeah, that's the one time I thought it was good.
Okay.
And after then, you just play the game from there. I mean, you can use the GX attack if you're behind too, which is strong.
Finnegan, you have to leave in about 2 minutes, right?
Yes, thank you for
Okay.
the reminder.
I'm going to ask you the closing thoughts questions and let you go, if
Sure.
that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said something. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to ask everyone else in about 5 minutes, probably when we wrap up. But Finnegan, so what are the 3 decks you think will be played the most, and what do you think the safest deck to play is for this regional?
I'm gonna say most popular are probably gonna be Sableye Garb because it won, Drampa Garb, and then for the 3rd slot, I'm not sure if it's gonna be Buzzwole or Zoroark, but one of those two. Safest deck, if you know how to play Drampa Garb, probably that, or just some form of Garb. And then, was there a 3rd question?
No, that was everything. And you can do your shout outs now as well, if you would like to.
Check out my website, cuttertap.com. I have a bunch of new decks talking about the new cards with lists and stuff like that you'll probably be into. Check out my sponsor, Pro Play Games and Ultra Pro. They're awesome. And I think that's about it.
All right, cool, man. Thanks for being on the channel.
Yeah, no problem. If I hang up, will it end the call?
No, you'll be good.
All right, see you guys
Have a
later.
good night, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think it's.
Is the layout okay?
Hmm?
Did it mess with how the YouTube layout looks?
Barely at all. So we're good. Okay. So I didn't want to cut you short on talking about Beast Box, Charlie. I forgot to bring it up. So what are its strong matchups? Its bad matchups?
Well, it beats Buzzwole and Zoroark because you do a lot of damage with Naganadel, or I can't pronounce that Pokemon's name, and
Yeah, it's a
with
hard.
Buzzwole you kill all those things with those attacks, and you Beast Ring. And I play one Buzzwole GX too, and basically you just use your Beast Rings to set up a giant Buzzwole GX or a big Buzzwole on the bench, as well as like your other Pokemon.
Okay. It definitely sounds cool. Are you playing the Ultra Space Stadium?
I tested it. I think I might still be playing it. I don't actually remember what my list is.
Okay.
I played Ultra Space for a good bit of time because it's nice to set up.
Cool. Yeah, it seems like it would be nice. It's like a Brooklet Hill for the deck almost.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, any rogue decks? Or decks that we didn't mention?
Durant, I guess. Might still see a little bit of play. Deontay hurts it a bit.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, I don't think Durant will see play. What about other mill decks like Whale Lord? Or worrying about anything like that?
Warlord is not good right now.
Cool.
You know, Buzzwole beats Whalord. So
And anyone who owns beaches is smart enough to not play Wailord.
Okay.
Oh, that's not true, man. Come on.
No, that
You know that's not true.
yeah, that might not be true. Maybe half of them.
Anyone who's with beaches, I will be
They're
there.
either smart enough to play Waylord or smart enough to play Groudon.
Bro, let's get some shock locks.
Is Groudon good? Oh yeah, Shock Lock.
No, Groudon's not good.
Just Shock Lock beat Buzzwole. No, you just lose all of your Pokemon really early game to Jet Punch. And you
Lock
never
on
lock
yeah,
anything.
Shocklock's not good.
I don't think Shocklock
You just
beats
lose.
many things,
The shock
but
lock doesn't
you know
do
it's a lot. It's
It's
a
just
lot.
Zoroark,
Deck.
too.
Does it lose to Zoroark?
Red card them out of the Shock Lock and then you win. That's the strategy apparently.
Oh wow,
Yeah, you just beat Shocklock with red card.
that's
Mhm.
nice. Okay, I think we covered all of the decks. So if you're going to tech for a matchup next weekend, sorry. If you're going to tech for a matchup, what matchup would that be? Charlie, for Drampagard?
I'd play more Field Blowers.
Okay. Peter?
I would tech for Buzzwole. I think lots of people are gonna play Buzzwole.
Yeah, Buzzwole's a deck that people are going to default on just because they like it from standard.
Yeah, people
it's-
just own the
and it's
cards
cool.
for standard. I mean, this event's not gonna be too large, so we'll see how that goes. Like, you can never predict like how many people are gonna play what, but since this event's gonna be under 400 people, I feel like. I mean, we won't see like a ridiculous amount, like 100 Buzzwoles, but we might see like, 50 to 60 Buzzwole.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane that Virginia's going to be under 400 people.
It's going to be the smallest regional the East Coast has gone in like 2 years.
No one likes expanded.
It was 650 last year, I think.
Yeah, and it was standard though last year.
Yeah.
Expanded sucks.
No
man.
one in our area owns expanded cards. We have no expanded events, I don't think.
Yeah. Michael, what are you teching for next weekend?
Buzzwole for sure.
Buzzwole. Okay, so there's a few Buzzwole techs. There's Mewtwo Evo. There's Mewtwo EX. There's Baby Mew. There's Oricorio.
There's Baby Zoroark, Black and White.
Oh, yeah, the Foul
Foul
Play.
Play.
Right.
And there's Mimikyu,
And there's Mimikyu.
which is amazing in Drampagard.
There's Counter Catcher.
Counter Catcher.
Yeah,
For-
they're always gonna go up on prizes, so you're
Okay.
pretty much always gonna have Counter Catcher live.
That's a really good point. Speaking of counter and speaking of Mimikyu, do you think a Zoroark counters deck is viable?
I mean,
Never
it could
thought-
make day 2. I don't think it can win the event though.
Okay.
I think it has to be very different from what Xander or Travis played a while ago. That deck was just flawed, period.
I looked at it. I was thinking about Zoroark counters for expanded the other night. Got really excited when I saw it on one of the day 2s, and then didn't really like the list. It would probably be Pokemon lineup wise closer to standard lists, like Shaman for Lycanroc, Mimikyu for Buzz, Sudowoodo for Zoroark. I think we lost Michael.
No, I'm
Did we?
here.
Oh, he's there? Okay, just no
Camera's
picture.
been messed up the entire time.
Okay.
He's just been frozen the
Just
whole time.
freezes on random faces.
Some of the time I couldn't tell if he was frozen or if he was just really focused. Okay. Does anyone have any other decks they want to talk about before we close it up? Alright, cool. Or Peter, was that a maybe or
Don't
Did
play.
we talk about Sylveon?
we didn't? No.
I think Sylveon could be a good play, to be honest. Like I think I feel like it has a decent Buzzwole matchup.
Okay.
Diantha for every card and your Diantha for the good cards.
Actually, Charlie, did you mention that or did you mention Diantha with Guardy GX?
I was up
Peter mentioned it with Guardy.
Okay.
with Mega Guardy, yeah. I was watching Frank Perchik play against Pram day 2 in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
and Pram was having a real bad time, man.
Okay.
Real bad time.
And I imagine that it wouldn't change too much with the new cards. You'll
Yeah,
be
I
doing
mean,
20
you
extra
do a little,
damage
you
with
little bit,
DNC.
you do a little bit more damage, but I mean, I don't think knocking them out was really the tough part. It was just like maintaining your energy and board state.
Mm-hmm. It is possible that we might see something like Carbink Break Buzzwole instead of Buzzwole Lycanroc. If people
Sure.
want to cut the 2/2 Lycanroc, add in a 1/1 Carbink, and then put in 2 B-Strings in the remaining 2 slots, and then Carbink Break would probably
I do a
ruin
lot
it.
of damage now, which is
Yeah, just a thought that I think Carbink Break would win Buzzwole that matchup. But so Sylveon beats Zoroark, right?
It should, unless they
Yeah.
play Mew EX.
Wait,
Yep.
what would Mew EX do?
Let's you one shot them.
just the resistance.
Oh, okay. I was very
They have
confused.
they have
Okay.
resistance to dark, right?
Right.
So you
Okay. Yeah,
can't
that makes
one-shot them.
sense. Yeah, there we go.
You could also play laser plus power.
You could play a
Right,
plus
you-
power.
You saw the list I put out with that young plus
That
power,
was broken.
Yeah, that's the new broken deck.
broken deck.
Okay, let's wrap it up then. So, we'll go Charlie, Peter, Michael. What do you think the 3 most popular decks will be at Roanoke day 1? And what do you think the safest deck to play is?
Most popular is Buzzwole. Second is either Guardy or Drampagarb, and then third's the other one. And Zoroark's a close fourth, in my opinion.
Oh, you think
And-
Guardy and Drampa are going to be second, third?
Yeah,
Okay.
and Zoroark would be fourth in most played.
Okay.
And then the other was like what?
What do you
The
think the
safest-
safest choice is?
If you know how to play it, I'd agree it's just Drampagarb. I mean, Drampagarb has a solid matchup against the other decks. And Gardevoir, you can deck for Gardevoir. You can play Tapu Fini, but I don't know about that in Expanded. It's not that bad a matchup anyways. But you get a good matchup against Buzzwole and Zoroark, which is really strong. And that's going to be most of what you're going to see.
Okay, cool. Just let me interject real quick before Peter's. Guardy loses to Buzz, right? Like, are we all in agreement on that?
I don't think it's possible for Guardy to win.
Okay.
I mean, Buzzwole does too much damage.
I was pretty sure, and because in my head I was expecting no one in their right mind to play Guardy, but I guess it gained hype from the last tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, same questions. What are the
Yeah.
3 most popular, and what's the
The
safest
most
deck?
popular deck by far is probably going to be Buzzwole plus X, either Lycanroc or some kind of text maybe people find. Second most popular deck is probably going to be Zoroark still. I don't feel like it got that weak with Buzzwole being the new target. I
Mhm.
think people might start cutting stuff like Parallel City. Like the Drampagarb list specifically played a 4th copy of Parallel City in Utah just to have an even better Zoroark matchup. So I think people will cut down a little bit on the Zoroark techs, and it might see a little bit more success. And the third most popular deck is going to be Drampagarb. It's really solid, and 50/50 is a lot of stuff.
And what do you think the safest deck is to play?
The safest deck is definitely Buzzwole.
Okay. Even with the target?
It just does a lot of damage for nothing.
Cool. Hot take. Michael?
Number 1 definitely going to be Buzzwole. It's too strong. Number 2 probably still going to be Zoroark. Had a lot of hype from the past, and people will continue to play it. And then number 3 is probably between Drampagarb and Sableye Garb. I feel like a lot of people will try and hop on Sableye Garb after just one,
Mm-hmm.
but Drampagarb has also had very consistent showings at the 3 or 4 regionals it's been at.
Yeah, it's been doing well for a while now.
Yeah, Michael, I have a quick question. So you and Finn both said you think Sableye Garb's going to be really popular. Do you think all the players are not going to do well with it, though, because they don't know how to play it?
Yeah, I think majority of people who play the deck will do very poorly with it.
Mm-hmm.
I tend
Just
to
out
agree.
of not playing it correctly.
Yeah, and the meta's changing too, and I don't think it's in its favor.
I mean, any deck that plays Getsis is pretty favored versus Sableye, so
Kieran's going to play it, though, I bet.
we'll see. I don't know.
And Michael, what is your safest choice for Roanoke?
Um, If you know it, Drampa Garb. Other than that, probably Buzzwole.
Cool. Cool. Well, all right. Thank you guys for coming on the channel, and let's do the ending shoutouts, starting with Charlie.
All right, so I'm gonna give a shout out to Top Gun Comics, of course, on their team. And right now we're doing a promotion, and please use it. If you go to their website, we have a promo code. It's called TCC Team 10, and if you use it, you get 10% off your entire order, no matter what you ordered, and it helps us out too. So it'd be great if you could just check out the website and order it. It's topcutcomics.com.
Cool. Peter?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Peter Joltik. I post all my lists on there. If I scrub out, I still post my list on there. Today, I posted this really cool Zork list. Pretty heavily tech to beat Buzzwole. You should try it out, test it out.
Cool. Michael?
I just want to give one shout out, and that's to my man Caleb Gettimer.
All right. Cool. Cool.
Any context?
No.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for being here again. Hope to see you all in Virginia, and hope we all make day 2 together. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope it helped, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.